Welcome to today's session, and thank you all for joining us today as we run our third session of the Entrepreneurship Month. If you're just joining, kindly rename yourself if you have the capacity to. So start with the institution that you belong to, followed by your name. Or you can, so institution, so mine would be Ashesi, followed by George. And I'm hoping you can rename yourselves. Take a time to rename yourselves as I introduce the session. So today marks the third session within our Entrepreneurship Month series. Over the last 2 weeks, we've run 2 sessions. The first session on 1st of March, we highlighted actions for entrepreneurial mindsets and entrepreneurship skills development in HEIs in Africa. During that session, we hosted Dr. Priya Aya from both the university who talked about entrepreneurship, shared a couple of success stories along with the participants who joined. And we also got a glimpse into the views of how to start an entrepreneurial university or what that looks like in actual sense. Last week, as we marked International Women's Day, we embraced equity through a session on laying the pathways to female participation in entrepreneurship. This was a beautiful panel led by Ineka from PAU with very interesting thoughts from our panelists on how to explore practical approaches to ensuring equity and breaking barriers for young people, especially women, and how to get them to actively participate and engage within the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Today, we're going to talk about how to map out the entrepreneurial activities for higher education institutions or of higher education institutions. Today's session, we are hoping that we can help you map out the entrepreneurial activities that drive student entrepreneurship education in your institution. And we also hope at the end of the mapping session, you will have a visual or pictorial representation of what to do regarding entrepreneurship and what entrepreneurial education might look like for your institution, or how you can leverage collective strengths within the network or within your institutions to build that. Today, to run this, we have Dr. Sena Agbodjah, who is the head of business administration at Ashesi University, our very own Sena, as we lovely call her. She currently leads the Kalangu project, Ashesi Innovation Experience, and the Entrepreneurship Ecosystem Development Project at Education Collaborative, as well as the Maso Business Academy. And these are all very significant initiatives that are funded by the Massacre. Is an all-star. If you're just joining, kindly mute yourself. Sena, Dr. Sena, as we all call her, or Sena, is an all-star, and she's a lifelong learner who's continuously thinking about how she can help students build skills within entrepreneurship. She also has a very keen interest in real estate, talks a lot about negotiation and design, and she has authored a couple of publications in these areas. Sena, I'm looking at your face right now. I'm sure you're excited about your bio yourself. She has.
Judge, I'm wondering, is that me? And I'm thinking, maybe it's about time you ended.
Yeah, you have a vast experience, and I believe it's going to be very beneficial to our participants today. And just before we welcome Sena onto the floor, kindly rename yourself if you have the chance, institution first, and then your first name, and mute yourself if you have the capacity to, and let us know where you're joining us from in the chats. Dr. Sena, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, George. And so I would just reiterate, I'm looking at the list or the participants, and I'm realizing that some of us haven't renamed ourselves. So I have my name as Sena, and it is going to where participants are looking for myself. I usually would be at the top, and I am preceding my name with Ashesi University. So I'm saying Ashesi and then hyphen, I'm Sena Agbodjah, and that should fix it. And we need you to do that to help us with putting you into various teams later on, into various group breakout rooms later on. And so let's try to do that. So thank you very much, George, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. As George mentioned, our objective here today is basically to help us all of us, design or document what is going on within our entrepreneurship ecosystems. So we actually invited some institutions who would want to participate in this activity, and they let us know ahead of time. And so we've set up a little platform that they are going to use, which I'm going to show to you later. But typically within the entrepreneurship ecosystem of a higher educational institution, we all have certain pieces that come together to form our activities, or what translates into what we do. And those things make us, or enables us to be able to train our students, to educate them where entrepreneurship is concerned. And so would say that we are offering them some entrepreneurship education. And these could be related to classes that we are offering. So some institutions have like compulsory entrepreneurship classes. Some have specific classes that take students through entrepreneurship. Some have hubs, entrepreneurship centers, and little pieces that we do, activities that we undertake as a higher educational institution to be able to create this entrepreneurship ecosystem with all the pieces that come together to create the culture that we want to see on our campuses. For those of us who engage also in a lot of research activities, some of these research activities translate into potential businesses. So we are able to commercialize some of these, the outputs of some of our research efforts. And these could be products or services, or sometimes even information that we patent, and later on it can be a source of material that can be patented and help the persons who came up with it gain some leverage where commercialization is concerned. And for all of us as well, we have like undergraduate programs, we have graduate programs. Our undergraduate programs typically would be like our undergraduate courses that we offer in different majors or in different subject areas. And then we also have our graduate programs, master's programs, and PhD programs that also provides us the opportunity to introduce some of these pieces that helps to develop an entrepreneurial mindset and helps to expose our students to the concept and mindset of entrepreneurship as we build and develop them for the future of Africa, basically. And so I am going to share my screen now and show us a sheet that we are going to work on. Now, before we do that, we realize that there are certain persons on the call who have volunteered in front of their names. Now, each one of these persons will be in our breakout rooms with us, and they will serve as our scribe. So as we have conversation and as we talk through the various pieces, they will document these on the sheets that we have. They'll document these on the sheets that we have. And then based off of that, we would, together with them, document what activities are informing our entrepreneurship ecosystems. And then later we'll share this with you for you to continue developing, or for you to use as a tool to reflect on what activities you're undertaking and what else you can do. And please post any question in the chat if you have any, or do raise your hand and let's call you if anything I say I don't communicate something very well, or if it doesn't make a lot of sense to you and you need more clarification. So I am going to share my screen now, and then show us what it is that I've been speaking to. Now, when we go into our breakout rooms, this is what we will see. The higher educational institution name up here, and your logo crest will be there. So you see that this sheet actually belongs to you, and our volunteers are already in the room. And each of you will have this. Now I'll start with the key. So there are 5 core pieces to this, and I'll speak to them one after the other. Now, there are some core curricular activities that we undertake. And these are basically courses that we offer. Either courses that helps us to teach about entrepreneurship. So to tell our students what entrepreneurship is, who an entrepreneur is, basically talking about it, right? And learning about entrepreneurship. And then there are courses that would use entrepreneurship as a tool, right? So for example, courses that have us using entrepreneurship cases, right? And these could be live cases or they could be documented cases, but we are teaching through entrepreneurship because we are using entrepreneurship as a tool. And then there are courses that teach for entrepreneurship where we provide the students with the opportunity to actually practice and learn, hands-on entrepreneurship skills, very experiential in nature. So all of these courses, we are calling them core curricular activities. And then we have our core curricular activities that are not courses. And please, if I explain any of this and it doesn't, communicate well to you, let's know. And then Rita or George, just let me know if a hand is up. The core curricular activities are basically, the experiential out of classroom opportunities that we offer the students, but they are related to curricular related activities. So they are very experiential, but they are very structured as well. They have heavy learning components. So for example, if you have a hub, or if you have some fellowships that run, pieces like that, that helps you to support the students with structure, with curriculum that trains them on entrepreneurship, to be able to develop the skills and competencies. But note that these are not core curricula. They are not courses per se, but they are not courses per se, but they help us to really define and explain what to do. So those are core curricular activities. And then we have the extracurricular activities. So these extracurricular activities are basically, students club activities, certain market days, events that helps us to promote an entrepreneurship culture on campus and provides our students with an opportunity also to use certain skills and competencies to develop this, right? So these are just extracurricular activities that they would engage in. And then there's the part on innovation, research, and development. So basically what research you are engaged in that results in outputs that can be commercialized. So for institutions that have, research in the area of, say herbal medicine, and you research on a particular product and you arrive at it and it actually has a potential of solving a problem, you put it out there. Or it's an engineering workshop and you are working on some research projects that are helping you come up with, say, a harvester, and eventually that can become, a product that you put out there to commercialize. So this is the innovation, research, and development activities that you undertake. And then we have a fifth bucket, which is basically your parking lot. So if there are pieces that either, you're not too sure where to place them, or it doesn't fit any of the buckets, we put them there. And then as we brainstorm and later on as we revisit this, we'll be able to look at that. And so it's the core curricular activities, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities, innovation, research, and development activities, and then we have our parking lot. Now, when we go into the worksheet itself, we have structured it such that, and I'm using the one for Accra Technical University, we have structured it such that the core curricular activities are here, and it opens up into undergraduate core curricular activities. So you can list these in here. And as you engage and tell your scribe, they'll be keying this in for you. And if it's more than 4, they will add on. Now, what we hope for you, or the picture we want you to have at the end of it, is to have it distributed for the different year groups that you have. This way, you are able to see very clearly how things are distributed and to help you move things around if need be. There's the master's level 1, and then there's the PhD, or doctoral level activities as well. Now, after the co-curricular activities comes the co-curricular activities. And also it's the same 3 levels. And then after that is the extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities. And then there's the innovation, research, and development activities. And then there's the parking lot for us to put the different pieces. So basically going into our breakout rooms, our volunteers have access to this sheet for the different institutions that registered. And so you have the different institutions here, and they are going to help you to do this. We will recommend that when you go in, one of you, the team members from the institution, actually is moderating the session, as the volunteers are just scribes. But if you have a question or you have any concern or are confused about anything, if you tell the volunteer, they will let us know. And then one of us will come in to come and help you clarify the challenge that you have, and then we continue. And so this basically is the activity for our workshop. We have about 45 minutes to work within our institutional groups. The volunteers will help to keep our time, and then we would go ahead and complete this. So at this point, unless there are questions and there are hands up that I'm missing, I think we can go into the various institutional groups. Now, the institutions that, and I'm going to stop sharing now, the institutions that we have currently and are going to be working with. Rita, are you able to, or George, are you able to mention the institutions, just so those who are going in know what institutions?
Yes, I can mention it, Sena.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have Ashesi University, Babcock University, Cavendish University, Uganda, Burkina Institute of Technology, Botho University, Kepler College, Makerere University, Bolgatanga Technical University, Accra Technical University, Isla Riara University, and International University of Grand Bassam.
Okay, thank you. So once the breakout rooms open, these different institutions will go into their breakout rooms. The volunteers will record the conversations. So please, volunteers, remember to hit record. And once you go into your breakout rooms, and those of us whose institutions are not, haven't been mentioned, you can join any of them. So once they go, we would know who else is here and then where you can go to. Vanessa, I'm not sure if we can verify this as well, but do we have three persons from these institutions that we have mentioned? Is there?
Yes.
We do?
Okay. From the chat, yeah, we can see that.
Okay.
Yes, and then afterwards, if your university's name wasn't mentioned, then you can join a room.
Yeah. Okay. Please, are we all okay, and are we good to break out at this point? And those whose institutions haven't been mentioned, please stay, and then we'll help you find a home for this purpose, right? Vanessa, please. That ultimately will help us to diagnose our entrepreneurship ecosystem. So do something similar to this, but by completing like a personality test for our institutions. And then once we are able to complete that, it'll be able to let us know where we have gaps, where we can enhance, and what activities or resources we need, enablers we need, or perhaps even what aspirations we can, leverage considering our enablers and our activities, to be able to arrive at a very active entrepreneurship ecosystem. We are in the process of developing some case studies as well, and those case studies would help us to see some of the exemplars on the continent related to different aspects of the framework, either enablers or activities or even aspirations. And that compiled will help us learn from ourselves as continental Africans or people who educate on the continent, so that as we learn from ourselves, we are able to come up with processes and systems that are context relevant. And these we are able to leverage to help us become, and not necessarily pick things from other contexts that might not help us, very much. We can get a bit of it from it, but it might not be all that. Now, this activity is also one aspect. As you saw, there were the enablers, there were the aspirations, it's connecting all of that. And at the June convening, we all know about the Education Collaborative convening. I hope you have registered. If you haven't, please go on the website and register as well. But at the June convening, the entrepreneurship track will give you the opportunity to even further work on these, right? To complete this mapping that you've done for your institution. We are going to pilot the diagnostic tool. They are going to help us to make it even finer and better so that it can serve all of us better. We are going to have institutions share their experiences, some of the exemplars to share their experiences as well, so that we can learn from each other. And together, the core of the collaborative is that together we are able to build and grow and become who we want to become. So by this, we are able to come together and make that happen for us. So if you haven't registered for the convening, please do. And when you come, do pop in to the entrepreneurship track activities and sessions and workshops. We'll have a lot going on to help you work on your entrepreneurship ecosystems directly. And then, yeah, George says time is up. So there's a point at which I zip and say, thank you all so much for participating in this activity. And thank you to our volunteers for facilitating the way they did. Thanks, George.
Thank you so much, Sena. This was a very beautiful session. I'm sure the resources, the questions that we've asked so far, is a good starting point for those of us who are thinking about refining or building our ecosystem. Start working on it, and then potentially be able to learn from each other. So we are going to move to take a photo, right? So, I mean, we love to do that. It's great to keep this as a resource. So I'm going to ask you, if you can, take 10 on your cameras. Jolene, who's in our comms, will lead us through this session. So please feel free to turn on your cameras if you feel like you're in a good position, turn it on. Jolene, take it away. We enjoy evaluations because evaluations allow us to get better. We're going to post a link to our evaluation shortly in the chat box. It should be there at the moment. So please feel free to fill this out for us as we try and improve and get better going forward. The other thing I'd like to share is June convening. And I think Sena graciously talked a little bit about June convening, when it's going to happen. June, it will be on from June 13th to June 16th. If you haven't registered already, we're going to drop the link in the chat box. You can also find the link on your page right now, on your screens right now. Please go ahead and apply or register for the June convening. We also have exciting grants for those of you who are looking for discounts to join the June convening. You can also find all of that on our website, so please go ahead and check it out. This year, the convening would be happening at the Kempinski Hotel from June 13 to June 16. We are excited to have you join us. We will be having exciting sessions around entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship track. Early bird for the June convening would end on April 17th, where you can enjoy significant discounts towards your registration. We are looking forward to having you join us because, as we already know, today has been exciting. Entrepreneurship Month has been exciting. We hope you would come along in your numbers to join us for the entrepreneurship track during the June convening. All right. That's about it from us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Sena, for facilitating this session. I'm hoping that you've been able to learn something, or at least kick-started the process to thinking about what you might need to build an entrepreneurship ecosystem for your institution. I think we've done a pretty good job at keeping to time. So thank you so much for joining us yet again. We wish you all the best. We look forward to seeing your registrations come in. And we'll be hosting our last entrepreneurship session next week, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, next week, Wednesday, we have our next entrepreneurship session on the 22nd of March. And the session is going to be about fostering collaborations within an entrepreneurial ecosystem. And our moderator, and I'm just gonna let it out today, would be Dr. Peter Bankole from PAU, and he would be leading us through this session. So please go ahead and register for the session using the link that we have in the presentation that you have on your screen. We would also drop the link in our chat box. Please go ahead and check it out. And we look forward to having you on the 22nd of March as we close out the Entrepreneurship Month. Thank you all for joining today, and we look forward again to seeing you. Have a good one, and bye.
Thank you.